I've been to Epic Universe a lot, and I love the park. There's a lot of great experiences, tons of great rides, but not all rides are created equal. So in this video, we are ranking the rides at Epic Universe in a good old-fashioned tier list. I'm gonna organize this by absolute must-do rides, S tier, and rides that are fun, but maybe you could skip. It's not the end of the world if you don't see them, down in the D tier. We're gonna go through all of the rides and shows at the park. Let's get this party started. I've got my tier list set up right over here, and we are gonna go by each world at Epic Universe, starting with the big one right at the front, Celestial Park. So in this area, there are two rides here in the park. There is Constellation Carousel and Stardust Racers. We're gonna do the first one, which is Constellation Carousel. Fun fact for me, as many times as I have been to Epic Universe, I have not actually gone on Constellation Carousel. I've always kind of just seen it and go, hey, look, there it is. Wow, so pretty. I mean, I've admired Constellation Carousel. I've gone up around and watched it go by, seen all the different seats go up and swing and dance and hear all the different songs. It's a very pretty carousel, but I've just never really been a carousel person. You know what I mean? Like, I would only ever do the carousel at another park if there was like no wait and there was absolutely nothing to do. It's a very unique carousel as well. It doesn't move like a normal one, but out of all of the amazing experiences you can have at Epic Universe, we're gonna go ahead and put this right here in the D tier. This is a ride that if you don't do it, it's not the end of the world. Now the next ride in Celestial Park is Stardust Racers. And for Epic Universe, this is the big roller coaster in the park. Right off the bat, honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and just bump Stardust Racers up to an S tier for a couple reasons. One, in the park, it is the big roller coaster. So if you are someone who is going to Universal, you are someone who is more than likely into thrills. And for this park, this is the most thrilling ride they have. It also doesn't hurt that it's a pretty amazing roller coaster. I don't think I've talked to anyone that doesn't like Stardust Racers. This is an extremely satisfying roller coaster that is fun and intense. And if you don't like roller coasters, this might not be an S tier ride for you, but I would say that even if you're not a big coaster junkie, you know, and you're looking to try a really intense roller coaster, kind of like a big roller coaster, Stardust Racers could work out. It only goes upside down one time, and you only need to ride it one time. Stardust Racers, absolute S tier. There is no debate about that. Now, we head over to How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. There's actually 4 different attractions in this area of the park that we're gonna put on this list. We are gonna start off with another S tier attraction, Hiccups Wing Gliders. Hiccups Wing Gliders is an absolute amazing ride experience, and I think for a lot of people at Epic Universe, this ride is like at the top of the list, definitely in the top 5. This is another roller coaster, nowhere near as intense as Stardust Racers, so this could actually be a pretty great experience for those who aren't into super big roller coasters, and for a lot of younger guests, this is probably going to be one of their first big roller coasters. This has a 40-inch height requirement. It has multiple launches, it goes through the environment, it has animatronics, it has onboard audio, and that onboard audio happens to be the most iconic How to Train Your Dragon theme flight test. Dun, 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 dun. I did not expect that ride to be as good as it is. It is truly one of the best experiences at Epic Universe. Next to Hiccups Wing Gliders is Dragon Racers Rally. This is a flying ride where you sit in a little seat, you go in a big circle, twist your wings side to side to make you feel like you're racing on a dragon. This one here, let's go ahead and move it to the C tier. This ride can be fun, but I do think it has a little bit more cons than benefits. First off, it doesn't take Express. This is one of the 3 rides at Epic Universe that currently don't take Express passes. So whatever the wait time is for this ride, you will be waiting the length of that time. And the kicker is that this ride can tend to get a pretty decently sized line. I've seen this line at 30, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour for this ride, and it makes you kind of think, okay, well, you know, if it's got a long line, it must be worth it, right? Well, I don't really know. It kind of depends. This ride kind of has sleeper potential for some people because the way this ride works is that you are able to push your seat side to side. And if you know what you're doing and get to it quickly enough, you can actually make your seat spin in place, which I think adds a lot of fun to this ride. The problem is though, most guests aren't really gonna know that unless someone tells them that it's possible. And also, it's not that easy. The seat is very heavy, it requires a lot of force, and you have to move the wings in a certain way to get what you wanna do. It also doesn't help that this ride is like 45 seconds long. I think a lot of people come off this and they go, that was it? And I think it totally makes sense. But if it has a low weight and you know how to flip it side to side, it does make it a lot more exciting, a lot more fun. So that's why I'm gonna bump it up to the C tier. Now the last ride in Isle of Berk is actually Fire Drill. I'm gonna go ahead and take this to a B tier. Yeah, it's an interesting ride because I think it is fun. I've done it like once or twice and I've enjoyed it. I don't think it's the most exciting ride at Epic Universe, but it doesn't have a height requirement, and it also serves a big functional purpose right now in this park, which is it is very, very hot, okay? So if you want to get wet on a ride, Fire Drill is going to have to be your choice. So I think just because of that, people are going to end up on this ride anyway. I think people enjoy themselves on this ride, even though you might end up getting a little wetter than you expect. So I think this ride, while it not being really thrilling or exciting, I still think there's a level of fun that makes it an enjoyable experience. I think most people who ride this ride enjoy it. So we're gonna go ahead and stick Fire Drill at a B, right in the middle. Now we're gonna hit up our first show over here. This is the Untrainable Dragon in Isle of Berk. This is going to be our first A tier experience here at Epic Universe. If you could only watch one of the shows at Epic Universe, I think the Untrainable Dragon would be the one. This one, to me, is the most theatrical. You sit in a big theater, there's tons of seats, and there's live music, and singing, and actors, and dancers, and special effects. I think the plot isn't really anything to write home about. It's definitely like a plot for little kids, but I think there's enough theatrics and special effects and things that adults can appreciate that will kind of make you feel good about seeing the show. The coolest, of course, being Toothless flying over the audience with Hiccup on top of him. That is a showstopper. That is the coolest thing. That is the reason you watch that show. It's also a really big theater, so there's always a good chance that you're gonna be able to get a seat for this show. And functionally, in the park, it's also nice to go watch a 20-25 minute show indoors, air conditioned, get out of the heat, get out of the rain. Epic Universe is a park that has a good amount of things to do in its first year, but I think if you want to add time to your park experience, you're going to need to see a show. But if you only want to watch one of them, I think Untrainable Dragon is the one. So that is my A tier experience right there. Now we're gonna head over to our next world, the Ministry of Magic, where there are two attractions, a ride and a show. Obviously, we all know the big ride, Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. This is going to absolutely be a boom S tier attraction. This is an absolute must-do. This often has one of the longest lines in the park, and it is very impressive in a lot of ways. This experience, because it's not just a ride, it's an experience, has some of the most impressive sets and wow moments at any Universal ride ever. Even if you just like walk through the queue, you're gonna still have a very memorable experience at the Battle at the Ministry. Going through the Floo Powder and seeing the Ministry for the first time is like one of the best Epic Universe moments ever. That is easily in the top 5. It is the coolest thing. And as far as Harry Potter rides go, this is easily one of the best. It has really ambitious technology. The elevator lift ride vehicle is really fun and big. It swings side to side. You're going through gigantic sets and rooms in this ride. This is basically Universal's Rise of the Resistance. So Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry has absolutely earned its S tier. Now we head over to Le Cirque Arcanu. Ha ha ha. And you know what? This is a hard one because I'm kind of in between these two tiers, B and C. I'm gonna go ahead and place it in the B tier right now. This is the first indoor Harry Potter show that we've ever had at Universal, so that's kind of fun and exciting. It's got some really great technology, some really great theatrics, and also too, I think it's kind of smaller, more intimate setting. really does make the show feel different than the Untrainable Dragon. The problem is though, the show takes place in the Fantastic Beasts movies timeline, which I think a lot of people don't really connect with, or a lot of people didn't really watch those movies. You know, I think that's kind of the weakest point of this Harry Potter land, is that weird jump between 1920s Paris and the battle at the Ministry, which takes place in like the main Harry Potter timeline. I think people don't pick up on that, and I think there's a lot of questions that they ask here. So this show kind of is an unfortunate byproduct of that weird mixed timeline. There are things in the show that involve the plot lines from the second Fantastic Beasts movie. And it also features a lot of like Harry Potter creatures that are very cute and well done, and some of these have some really wow showstopper moments. I just don't think that people connect with it, you know? Like, I think you kind of just watch it and go, oh yeah, look at that bird, look at the bird, guys. It doesn't hit as hard, I think, as The Untrainable Dragon, or it's not as easy of a show to follow as The Untrainable Dragon. So because of that, it's gonna go ahead and sit in the B tier. I still think it's a cool option, and if you're looking for something to do at the park, this could work out for you, but I just don't think it's as good of a show as The Untrainable Dragon. So now we head over to the Dark Universe. Our first ride here is Monsters Unchained. That's gonna go into the S tier, absolutely, without a doubt. I think this ride is so good. In my opinion, this is probably the best of the indoor rides at Epic Universe. It's just so great. I've said a bazillion great things about this in other videos. I'm gonna keep it short for Monsters Unchained. It's got a great story. It's got an amazing queue. It's got a really fun ride system with the Kuka arm, and it's got so many impressive animatronics and set pieces, tons of wow moments. This ride is so great, so fun, and it normally can keep a pretty reasonable wait time because this ride is a capacity beast. So this ride, on a day when all the other rides at Epic Universe will have a 90-minute, 2-hour wait, this ride can keep it pretty steady at a 30, 45 minutes. There's been even days where I've seen this ride at like a 20-minute wait, which to me is pretty awesome because that just means that you can get right back on as soon as you get off the amazing Monsters Unchained. And the next ride over in this area of the park is the Curse of the Werewolf. I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is a C tier attraction. Now, I do like this ride. I think it's fun, but I do think out of all of the outdoor roller coaster rides at Epic Universe, if this is the one that you miss, I wouldn't feel too bad about it. It's kind of short, and even though it's free spinning, there isn't really a way to guarantee that it's gonna spin a lot. So you might get on it and not really spin at all, and then the ride becomes dramatically less fun when that happens, versus sometimes I've been on this ride and you spin the entire time, and that's a really fun experience. And that would definitely bump it up a couple tiers if it did that the entire time. This ride also can get a pretty long line. So if you don't hit this up early at the start of the day, or like at the end of the night, you can be waiting a really long time for this very quick roller coaster ride. So yeah, the Curse of the Werewolf, if you somehow don't get to this one here, I would try to focus on the other roller coasters at Epic Universe. And then finally, we head over to our last world, Super Nintendo World, where we have 3 rides to put on this list. The first is Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. I'm gonna go ahead and bump this guy up to an A tier attraction. Mario Kart has a lot of mixed feelings. When I first rode this ride in California, I didn't really care for it. I thought it was not super exciting. I thought the video game augmented reality aspect of the ride was way too confusing, and I didn't really know what was going on. And because of that, I didn't feel like I was having a good time. Now that I've been able to do this ride multiple times, I've gotten a lot better at the ride. And turns out, like a video game, the more you experience this ride, the better you get at it, the more enjoyable of an experience you're gonna have. So now that I am comfortable playing the Mario Kart ride, I enjoy the ride a lot more, and I think it's a lot of fun, and I do appreciate the technology. Now, on the flip side of that, I understand people's position where if you waited 2 hours to ride this ride, a ride where the enjoyment of it strongly depends on the re-rideability of the ride, I could understand this ride not being on a lot of people's lists. But I think it has one of the best queues at Epic Universe. I think the ride system is really fun and ambitious. It's also family friendly. It's 40 inches, so almost everybody can ride it. And the ride itself is extremely polished. It feels like a high quality AAA theme park experience. Mario Kart, in my opinion, has earned an A tier. This isn't an absolute must do, but it is one of the most popular rides, one of the biggest rides at Epic Universe. Then we head over to Donkey Kong's Minecart Madness. And this one's tough. This one's tough because a part of me wants to put this in the S tier, but also I want to put it in the A tier as well. Donkey Kong is a really fun ride experience. I don't know if it's as good as the other 4 rides in the S tier. For the record, I love Donkey Kong. I think it's tons of fun. I love the music. I love the roller coaster. I love the vibe of the ride. It does have its flaws, okay? One, the ride feels a little short. You kind of get through it pretty quickly. It's a little shaky. This type of roller coaster, they call it a boom coaster. The way it's built and just the way that it is just makes it a shaky ride experience. And it's easy to kind of say, oh, this is like you're on an out of control minecart, so this is what it's supposed to be like. It doesn't feel like that on purpose. You know what I mean? And then 3, it just has a really long line all the time. This is a ride that unfortunately breaks down a lot, doesn't take express, and it is extremely popular. So that little trifecta right there is gonna cause the Donkey Kong ride to be consistently one of the longest queues in the park. I don't know, maybe... No, we'll keep it in the A tier. I think it's a really great ride. I think Mario Kart and Donkey Kong are rides that you should absolutely see when you go to Epic Universe. We're gonna keep Donkey Kong in the A tier. And then we're gonna go ahead and put Yoshi's Adventure, our last ride, onto the C tier. This ride is fun, it's cute. This is the people mover of Epic Universe, but it is not as long and the wait time is not as short. It is also all outdoors with no shade. So when you are sitting on the back of your Yoshi at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and it's 90 degrees, you're gonna feel it. Otherwise, it's a very pleasant ride. It's a sightseeing tour through Super Nintendo World. You have a little fun interactive element for kids where you can find all the different colored Yoshi eggs. It's a really fun, pleasant ride. But if it ends up having a 50 or a 60, 75 minute wait when you're at Epic Universe, I don't think you should get in line and do it. This is a ride that I would try to do right at the start of the day or right at the end of the day, where hopefully it doesn't have as long of a line. Yoshi's Adventure, it's gonna sit right there in the C tier. Kind of looking at it, I have to say this is kind of my list right here. I think these 4 are the absolute must-do experiences at Epic Universe. This is the best that the park has to offer. The A tier is also incredible as well. B tier is some really great options. C tier is fun and easy. And D, even though it is a ride you could skip, even just seeing the carousel go by or getting to do it when it has a low wait time might add to your experience, I don't really have much to say about the Constellation Carousel. I want to know how my list compares to your list. So please leave a comment down below if you agree with everything that I've said here in this quick little video, or what you would change and move around. And if you're looking for more Epic Universe videos like this one, please be sure to check out my channel. You're gonna find those videos there. Like and subscribe. All of that stuff really, really does help. But until then, that is my tier list. Thank you guys for watching another VincentVision, and I will see you at the next one. Oh my gosh, I didn't even do it. Watch out. Bye-bye.